What I see, and what is obvious to me at first glance, is that this is not an agreement. So President Donald Trump did not make an agreement with Ursula von der Leyen, but Donald Trump ate Ursula von der Leyen for breakfast. That's what happened. What I can also say for sure is that the Americans recently made a similar agreement with the English. That's much better than this. So the European agreement is worse than the English one. Therefore, it will be difficult to present it as a success later on.
Moreover, there is the problem that supposedly they agreed to bring hundreds of billions of euros worth of capital from Europe to America, but who?
The Commission has no capital. On whose behalf did it make an agreement? Will the German Chancellor bring that money, or the French President, or will the Hungarian Prime Minister send capital? How is this conceived? So I don't see this. The other thing is that supposedly we are going to buy weapons for hundreds of billions of dollars, but who? Because the Commission doesn't have an army. It cannot buy weapons. Who will buy them?
And thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Thank you very much for inviting me here. Indeed, it is today about trade between the European Union and the United States. So I'm very much looking forward to the discussions we will have now. Our staff have done some of the heavy lifting, but now it's on us. Yeah. And you're known as a tough negotiator and deal maker. What is in front and fair, and what is in front of us?
That's less important.
If we are successful, I think it would be the biggest deal each of us has ever struck. So I'm very much looking forward.
Ever struck by anybody? That's
yeah.
true.
A question for President von der Leyen, please.
Yes.
Can you give your assessment of what you feel the chances are a deal of? The President just talked about a 50-50 chance, and the biggest obstacle being fairness. What would you say are those things for you?
I think the President is right. We have a 50 to 50% chance to strike a deal. And indeed, it is about rebalancing. So you can call it fairness, you can call it rebalancing. We have a surplus, the United States has a deficit, and we have to rebalance it. We have an excellent trade relation. It's a huge volume of trade that we have together. So we will make it more sustainable.
Mr. Trump, can you do better than 15% tariff rate for the EU?
Better meaning lower?
Yeah.
No.
Mr. President, on Friday you said that Europe is being crushed by mass migration, and I wondered whether your friends on the other side of the room agree with you on that.
Well, I'd let you respond to that if you like.
So we have been working intensively on the topic of irregular migration. And we have, from the very beginning, said that migration is a European challenge that needs a European answer. As Europeans, we will fulfill our international obligations, as we've done in the past, also in the future. But we, as Europeans, are the ones who decide who comes to the European Union and under what circumstances, and not the smugglers and traffickers. That's the principle in which we are working.
Doing big.
I will say this, they did ask me when I got off the plane, immigration, Europe has a tremendous problem, and we do too, but we've sealed our borders. We have nobody coming in, and we have hundreds of thousands of people being taken out, and the bad ones first, and I think we're doing a very good job of that. But it literally registered 0 people last month. You probably saw that, nobody. And Europe has a very similar problem. I think they're going to end up in the same place. You might as well go there quicker. And the other thing I say to Europe, we will not allow a windmill to be built in the United States. They're killing us. They're killing the beauty of our scenery, our valleys, our beautiful plains. And I'm not talking about airplanes. I'm talking about beautiful plains, beautiful areas in the United States. And you look up, and you see windmills all over the place. It's a horrible thing. It's the most expensive form of energy. It's no good. They're made in China, almost all of them. When they start to rust and rot in 8 years, you can't really turn them off. You can't bury them. They won't let you bury the propellers, the props, because there's a certain type of fiber that doesn't go well with the land. That's what they say. The environmentalists say you can't bury them because the fiber doesn't go well with the land. In other words, if you bury it, it will harm our soil. The whole thing is a con job. It's very expensive. And in all fairness, Germany tried it, and Wind doesn't work. You need subsidy for wind, and energy should not need subsidy. With energy, you make money. You don't lose money. But more important than that is it ruins the landscape. It kills the birds. They're noisy. You know, you have windmills all over the place. Some of the countries prohibit it, but people ought to know that these windmills are very destructive. They're environmentally unsound, just the exact opposite. Because the environmentalists, they're not really environmentalists. They're political hacks. These are people that they almost want to harm the country. But you look at these beautiful landscapes all over the world. Many countries have gotten smart. They will not allow it. They will not. It's the worst form of energy, the most expensive form of energy. But windmills should not be allowed. You know, and we've been very generous to NATO for many, many years. And but we had a terrific meeting with NATO. I'd love to do as well. We had a meeting where they put up 5% instead of 2%, and they're going to pay it instead of not paying, because, as you know, many people didn't pay the 2% or anywhere near it, and the 2% was too low. And we're going to be sending now military equipment and other equipment to NATO, and they'll be doing what they want, but I guess it's, for the most part, working with Ukraine. But we had a fantastic meeting. I guess it's now almost 4 weeks ago. One of the best meetings they've ever had at NATO. And the spirit and the coming together was incredible. And I stood and I listened to almost 30 speeches. That was a lot. And I was really late and I had to leave, but I didn't want to leave before those last 10 spoke, because they go home and they tell their wife, Trump left. And they were so nice to the United States. They were all mentioning the United States and me, but they were mentioning the United States, to be here. It's such an honor, et cetera. And I thought it would have been inappropriate. But I did stay. It was very hard because I was extremely late for something else that was, pretty important. And we had a tremendous NATO meeting. I'm sure you heard that.
Yeah.
It was great. There's some great people that you deal with on two fronts, right? But you deal with on primarily the trade front. But I will tell you, they came together and the relationship is really good. That was it's an interesting question, because you probably have reported it that way. It really, we came together, and they went from 2% to 5%, which nobody would have thought that was who would even think that? Because they didn't want to be at 2%, all of a sudden they're 5%. And that's the right number. And so it was a great honor. I got to know the heads of those countries really very well at that meeting almost a month ago. Okay? Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you. Let's go back to
your Irish golf anytime soon, June.
I will. I love doing that. I'll go. Not in the strip, but I'll go see.